Hey guys, today we are going to be working with number patterns. Some of you might think that's a little silly, but I know that there are a few of these that are going to trip us up, so I wanted to kind of go over them. A couple clues that I want you to pay attention to. If you're noticing that the numbers are getting larger in the pattern, you automatically know that you're going to be adding or multiplying. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to understand. So when we look from 0 to 7 in this problem, we know we're either adding or multiplying. Well, if we were multiplying, 0 times what gets you to 7? There's nothing that can multiply to get you to 7, so you know that you're automatically going to be adding 7. And when you look from 7 to 14, you're adding it again. Okay, and then when you go from 14 to 21, you're adding it again. So the directions say identify the pattern. So your pattern here will be adding 7. Okay, and then it says write the next three terms. So 21 plus 7 would be 28, and then we have 35, and then we have 42. All right, so some of you are like, Mr. Mack, really? Are we going to be doing adding single digits all day? Not going to happen. Look at the next one. Well, wait a minute. That's a huge difference, right? Now we're definitely getting smaller, so we're either going to be subtracting or we're going to be dividing, okay? And looking at this problem, if I was subtracting to get from 1,458 down to 400, I'd have to subtract by like 1,000, right? Well, if I subtract 1,000 from this, I'm not going to be at 162. So I know I'm not subtracting. I know I need to be dividing. So I got to figure out what I'm dividing by. So you could either look here, or you could look here, or you could look at any of these to try and figure out which one of these might help you to understand what the pattern is going to be. What are we going to be dividing by? All right. So I know if I divide by 1, that's going to get me to have the same number. And if I divide by 2, I'm going to have about half of that. Well, I know that half of 1,400 is going to be about 700 and something. So I'm not going to divide by 2, but I will try by 3. So let's do 3 into 1,458 and see what happens. Okay, 3 goes into 14 4 times. That's 12. Okay, I'll subtract. I get 22. I'm sorry, I get 2, then I bring down a 5, not 22, sorry. I bring down a 5, so now I have 25. Okay, so then 3 goes into 25 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, so 5 minus 4 is 1. I bring down the 8. Okay, 3 goes into 18 6 times. And if you look at that, we finish up our problem. All right, we have 486, and that is the number there. So we know that our pattern is going to be dividing by 3. Okay, so now it asks, okay, well, what are the next three numbers? 54 divided by 3 is going to be 18. Now, I know that mentally you could do the work on the side. And then 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, so the biggest clue that you have to remember is if the numbers are getting bigger, you're either adding or multiplying. If they're getting smaller, you're either subtracting or dividing, right? So then again, let's look at this one. We have 72, and then we get to 66. So I was going to divide 72. I have no idea how I would get 66. All right, so I'm not going to divide. I would then subtract. So let's see. What's 72 minus 66? All right, and some of you may say you know that mentally again. All right, 12 minus this is 6. So the difference is 6. So it looks like I'm subtracting 6. Let's find out. 66 minus 6 is 60. 60 minus 6 is 54. So my pattern is minus 6. All right, and then I need to look at the next three terms in the sequence, which means the next three numbers if I keep subtracting 6, which would be 48, 42, and 36. Okay, so far we've done an adding, a dividing, a subtracting. Let's see if we can do one more. How do I get from 1 to 3? Well, I either add 2. Was 3 plus 2 9? No. So that's not going to be my pattern. But if I multiplied it by 3, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So my pattern will be multiplying by 3. And now I have to do 27 times 3, which is 81. Again, I know it mentally. You can do the work on the side. 81 times 3 is 243. Did that mentally. You would do it on the side. And then 243 times 3 mentally. Ooh, all right. So that would be a 9. That would be a 2. And that would be a 729. All right. You would show the work. I'm just doing it a little bit quicker. All right, guys. So this is our skill for today with the number patterns. Like I said, it sounds like something pretty easy when we're looking at numbers like 2 and 4 where we're adding and subtracting. But when we start dividing and multiplying, it gets a little more challenging. All right. So take your time. Make sure you check the pattern for every single step, because for this to work, and the pattern has to work every single time. Okay, it can't be, oh, I added here and then I subtracted here. No, you need to do the pattern every single time. Add 7, add 7, add 7. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, minus 6, minus 6, minus 6. Times 3, times 3, times 3. All right, if you need anything, I'm here for you. Post something in the comments or send me a private message, guys. Good luck today. Miss you.